The Guardians of the Cape, a historical tale. They stand silent now, mere ruins overlooking the sea, but once the batteries of Cape Town were alive, buzzing with the clamour of soldiers, the roar of cannons, and the weight of history itself. These fortifications aren't just relics, they're storytellers, each with a tale of conflict, resilience, and the occasional dose of chaos. It all began in 1726, when the Dutch East India Company decided the Cape needed a guardian. The Chavons Battery, named after Governor Maurice van Chavon, was a formidable U-shaped fortress, bristling with 16 cannons. These massive, smoothbore guns, each capable of firing 24-pound iron shot, could easily shred through the wooden hulls of enemy ships. Positioned to cover Table Bay, the battery became Cape Town's first major coastal defence. Beneath its thick stone walls lay a labyrinth of vaulted storerooms filled with gunpowder, cannonballs, and enough provisions to sustain a siege. Soldiers stationed here often joked that the rats were tougher than the men, surviving off imported Dutch biscuits stored in the magazines. One stormy night in 1740, a British frigate, emboldened by the cover of darkness, drifted too close to the harbour. A watchman sounded the alarm, and soon the Chavons battery erupted with fire, the air filled with smoke and the deafening roar of cannons. The frigate, startled and unprepared, retreated into the darkness, leaving Cape Town unscathed. By the 19th century, as military technology advanced, Chavon fell into disuse. Over time, it was buried beneath the docks and warehouses of a growing city. Forgotten, but not gone, the battery was rediscovered during excavations in the 1990s, its walls standing as a testament to Cape Town's turbulent past. Today, Chavons Battery stands as one of Cape Town's most fascinating historical sites. Restored to its former glory, it now houses a museum where visitors can explore its history, see artifacts, and even witness reenactments of the cannons being fired. The Chavons Battery Museum offers a fascinating glimpse into the military past of Cape Town and serves as a reminder of the city's early defences. By 1781, it was clear that Chavon alone couldn't defend Table Bay. The Dutch, fearing attacks from British forces during the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War, constructed the Amsterdam Battery near Greenpoint. This fortification was an engineering marvel of its time, boasting 12 heavy cannons mounted on swivelling platforms, allowing for a broad range of fire. The battery's walls, constructed of sandstone and concrete, were over 2 meters thick, designed to withstand the heaviest naval bombardments. Beneath the gun platforms, tunnels led to underground storerooms, where barrels of gunpowder were carefully stacked. Soldiers worked tirelessly, knowing that one spark could spell disaster. And disaster did strike, though not from enemy fire. In 1784, during a routine drill, an overzealous gunner accidentally ignited a cannon while it was still being loaded. The explosion killed 2 soldiers and sent shrapnel flying, narrowly missing Governor Van de Graaf. The incident became infamous, earning the battery a reputation for being as dangerous to its own men as to the enemy. Despite its power, the Amsterdam Battery was never used in combat. By the late 19th century, it was repurposed as a prison before being demolished to make way for modern developments. Today, the Amsterdam Battery site is part of a vibrant area with modern development, including the Greenpoint Urban Park. Though little physical evidence of the Amsterdam Battery remains, plaques and historical markers provide insight into its significance, reminding modern visitors of its role in Cape Town's early defence strategies. Originally named Kyk in de Pot, or Look into the Pot, Fort Wynyard was built in 1795 to protect Granger Bay. The name came from the nearby whaling station, where massive pots of whale blubber were rendered into oil. The smell was so pungent that soldiers often joked the fort was more likely to repel invaders with its stench than its cannons. Initially, the battery housed 6 18-pounder smoothbore cannons. These guns were later replaced with advanced rifled muzzle-loading RML guns in 1862, capable of firing explosive shells up to 5 kilometers. Fort Wynyard wasn't without its quirks. In one memorable incident, a young gunner underestimated the recoil of a 68-pounder cannon. The gun, mounted on a wheeled carriage, rolled backward with such force that it smashed through a wall, sending the fort's resident goat scurrying for safety. The fort played a crucial role in the Anglo-Boer War, serving as a signal station and command post. Declared a national monument in 1976, Fort Wynyard remains one of Cape Town's most intact military structures. Today, Fort Wynyard stands proudly as a national monument. Open to the public, it houses a military museum showcasing the history of the fort and its role in Cape Town's defense. Visitors can explore its well-preserved buildings, underground tunnels, and cannon placements, gaining a deeper understanding of the fort's legacy. Hout Bay, with its narrow entrance and towering cliffs, seemed a natural choice for a defensive position. Between 1781 and 1783, the Dutch constructed the east and west batteries on opposite sides of the bay. Together, these fortifications created a deadly crossfire zone that no enemy ship could hope to navigate. The East Battery was the larger of the two, armed with 35 cannons ranging from 18-pounders to 24-pounders. Its counterpart, the West Battery, boasted 20 cannons strategically positioned to cover the western approach. Life at the batteries was grueling. Soldiers braved freezing winters and scorching summers, all while maintaining their weapons and keeping a vigilant eye on the horizon. Yet the batteries never fired a shot in anger. Their mere presence was enough to deter potential invaders. Local legends claim that the West Battery is haunted by the ghost of a soldier who lost his life during a training accident. On foggy nights, some say you can hear the faint echo of cannon fire drifting across the bay. Today, Hout Bay's East and West Batteries are largely abandoned, though portions of the West Battery can still be explored. There are some remnants of the fortifications that dot the landscape, with historic markers telling the story of the two batteries. While not a major tourist attraction, these batteries provide a peaceful place to reflect on the city's past, with stunning views of the bay and surrounding cliffs. Perched on the cliffs above Camps Bay, the Camps Bay Battery was constructed during the early 19th century as part of a broader strategy to defend the Cape Colony from naval threats. This battery was strategically located to control the approach along the western shore, where enemy ships might seek to attack the growing port of Cape Town. While not as large or as well known as some of the other batteries in the area, the Camps Bay Battery held an important position in Cape Town's coastal defense network. Armed with several 12-pounder cannons, the battery provided a direct line of fire over the Atlantic Ocean. The battery's construction included not just the cannons, but also fortified walls, gunpowder storage, and a small barracks for soldiers stationed there. The Camps Bay Battery was actively manned during both the First and Second World Wars, but its role was largely one of deterrence. The threat of German or other Axis powers attempting to attack the vital shipping lanes passing near the Cape was high during these periods, but the battery's location on the cliffs also ensured that any attacking ships would be in clear view, thus allowing defenders to be ready for action. While the Camps Bay Battery never fired its guns in anger, its position overlooking the bay made it a key strategic point during times of tension, especially during the Second World War, when the possibility of German U-boats or surface raiders threatening the shipping routes was a real concern. Today, Camps Bay Battery is less of a tourist destination than some of its more famous counterparts like Signal Hill or Robben Island, but its location remains a hidden gem for those with an interest in military history. The site is largely overgrown and underdeveloped, with only fragments of the original walls and cannon positions remaining. It offers spectacular views of Camps Bay and the Atlantic, making it a tranquil place to reflect on the military history of Cape Town. Nestled in the strategic location of Simon's Town, a naval base and town located along the False Bay coast of the Cape Peninsula, the Simon's Town Battery played a critical role in Cape Town's coastal defences, particularly during the colonial period and both world wars. Constructed in the 19th century, the Simon's Town Battery was positioned atop a hill with a commanding view of False Bay, providing an unobstructed line of sight to any ships attempting to approach the harbour. From this elevated position, the battery was able to protect the bay and harbour from enemy vessels, most notably during the colonial period, when European powers jostled for control of various territories around the globe. The battery's primary weapons were large-caliber coastal defense guns, including 9.2-inch and 6-inch guns, which had the range and firepower to deter or destroy ships approaching the harbor. Despite the upgrades during both World Wars, the battery never saw combat. It did, however, contribute to the defense of Simonstown, especially during World War II, when Simonstown became critical to British naval operations in the Southern Hemisphere. Perched high above the rugged cliffs overlooking the mighty Atlantic Ocean, the Apostle batteries were built during both World Wars as part of Cape Town's coastal defense system. They were positioned to provide early warning and protection from naval attacks, particularly German U-boats. During World War II, the batteries were armed with 4.7-inch and 6-inch naval guns. While the batteries were upgraded for modern warfare, they never had to fire a shot. However, their imposing presence was enough to deter enemy ships from approaching the Cape. Today, these batteries lie abandoned, with only their crumbling remains remaining on the cliffs, offering a peaceful yet poignant reminder of Cape Town's coastal defense history. And that's the story of the Guardians of the Cape. Fortifications that stood as silent sentinels, protecting the city and its harbor through the centuries. From the first cannons fired in the 1700s to the last remnants of these batteries standing today. The history of Cape Town's coastal defenses is a testament to resilience and strategy. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time. If you enjoyed learning about Cape Town's military history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more fascinating stories from the past. See you next time, and remember to stay curious.